Hi, this is Bob Dennison, and I am here with Tony Smith, who is a broker here at Dennison, and he actually knows a lot about these boats in the background, Candela. They are an electric foiling boat built in Sweden, and they did a really cool thing. It's a really long video, but it's about 40 minutes long of just kind of doing a virtual sea trial on a Candela. Can you tell us what that is like and what's sort of weird and different about this?
Yeah, so a real nice thing about this video is it's a virtual sea trial, essentially. So it's a quiet boat, and that really comes through. You'll see how the boat will fly over the waves, get a feeling for what it would actually be like to operate one of these vessels. For many reasons, hydrofoils are super efficient, and then they have less jolts and wear and tear on the body. So one problem with the electric boats is they don't have the range because you have a lot of resistance when the hull's plowing through. But when you're able to fly up above, you lower all that surface tension.
And that word fly, I think, is something I've never been on a Candela, either of you, sadly, because we haven't been able to travel. But that word fly, I think, is how most people that have been on a Candela sort of describe it as, right?
Yeah, take off at about 17 knots and really fly over the waves. And what really astounded me was the operator can be talking and we can clearly hear him even though he's going at full speed here.
Because it's so quiet, right?
Yeah, it's super quiet and super efficient. And then we're also monitoring the battery level throughout this whole thing. So the video is about 30 minutes and it doesn't burn through the whole battery because this thing has quite a range on it. So pretty impressive vessel.
You sound like a scientist right now. I like it. So we are going to let the great people at Candela take over from here. Hope you enjoyed. If you have some questions, put them in the comments. Tony will reply to them personally. He's really good at that. And we really appreciate you guys taking the time to learn more about these really cool boats. See you later.
Great. Thanks.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Candela Factory Marina, where we are going to do a virtual test drive of our Candela 7 electric hydrofoil bow rider. It's going to be a great time taking you guys out on this test drive. We're going to go through some waves, hopefully do some hard banking and some turns, and in general just enjoy a nice evening out on the water to show you what it's like to hydrofoil with an electric boat. Let's go. Takes about a full 12 hours to charge the boat to full. So these are the controls: a regular throttle, a regular steering wheel, and a touchscreen. If you want, you can also control some parts of the touchscreen through this trackpad remote over here. We're doing about 24 knots. Bumping it down to about 22. No wake. A bit chilly. .21 knots, consuming about 20 kilowatts of energy. It's pretty cool. Some banking. So you can turn pretty sharply. Leaning at about 10 degrees right now. So what's important to think about when you're hydrofoiling with this boat is that you can turn pretty sharp, but you need to be fairly planned when you turn. You see, super course stable. actually sort of look back. Go in a big circle. There's a bit of squeaking in the boat since we need to grease it up a little bit. Just haven't done that. So at this speed we can do about 45 to 50 nautical miles depending on the wind and the waves and stuff. And of course also if your hydrofoil is clean. A clean hydrofoil means better range. This is pretty cool. So nice. Banking left, port side, leaning at about 11 degrees, 10 degrees. You can hear the motor slow down a little bit. Straight now. As you can see, the weather is fairly calm right now. But even if we had some wind and some pretty aggressive chop, the ride would be almost this smooth. Increasing the speed a little bit, you can hear the sound level picking up a bit. And once we cross a certain threshold for this design of foil, we're going to hear some cavitation noise. So at about 20, 26, 27, the water is flowing over the foil so fast so that it starts to boil. This is called cavitation. But now we're doing 27 knots, so we're consuming about 34 kilowatts. I mean, what other 8-meter boat can do that? 28 knots and 34 kilowatts. Going back down to a more economical speed. It's about 95% cheaper to drive this boat in terms of fuel costs than a similar sized boat. If we bank hard enough, we're going to hear the control system actually limiting the RPM of the motor to give us some feedback that we're banking a bit too much. We can still drive this pretty sportily. It's a beautiful tail wake. We've actually designed the foil system to be active in this way, to make sure that you don't feel outward going forces when you turn, similar to those in a go-kart. That is what was so tricky. We had to design a foil that could actually be twisted in order to make the boat bank. In the rear we have a rudder that initiates the turns. When the boat feels that it's turning, the control system actually twists the foil and makes the boat lean to either side. Currently the foil is moving at about 100 times per second based on the input from the onboard flight computer. Up there in the front we have two ultrasonic sensors continuously measuring the distance to the water. Doing about 24 knots. The boat is indicating a range of about 35 nautical miles from here. Hopefully we won't get more rain. Done some turning at higher speeds. A bit more sportiness. One of our customers actually drives at full speed almost all the time. He uses this boat to go out to his summer place in the Stockholm archipelago, and compared to his previous aluminum boat, which you can see in one of our videos, he has saved about 10,000 euros over the course of one summer by driving an electric boat instead of his 350 horsepower Yamaha. Doing a pretty tight turn here. You can hear the limit kicking in, almost catching your own tail wake. The RPM picking up again after you straighten up. Taking out the GoPro. these waves are fairly small. We can handle a lot bigger ones. But as a general tip, when going through waves with a hydrofoil boat, you want to hit them pretty much dead on. You can see over there. Down to 20 knots. I've used about 10% of the battery so far at a cost of about 40 euro cents. So here, this is the way to go through waves. Again, we can handle a lot bigger waves. You just need to be a bit careful. Of course, this boat isn't designed for super offshore use, but anything intercoastal or in archipelagos, sort of calm waters in general, fairly calm waters, the Candela 7 outperforms almost any boat in this size when it comes to comfort. We're not touching the surface of the water, completely lifted above it. I think I might head back soon, it's getting a bit cold. In Maine, Sweden. Beautiful. Said you can operate the touchscreen, so this touchpad over here. I'm not fully sure if you can see the screen. Here we have some different options. The display. Switch display brightness, do a lot more. And of course we have our TC charts from Navionics on our own custom built navigator. wakes from a ferry. Let's see if we can pass them. Depends on which ferry you meet. Some are better than others. This one has a pretty huge bulbous bow, I think. Let's see what kind of waves it leaves. Always fun to foil up next to these big boys. Bow waves, just chop right through them, pretty big. We have some turbulence. Some of the trailing turbulence of the ferry. Turning on the navigation lights. As you can see, the water is still turbulent here, which means that the hydrodynamics of the foil is a bit different. You can see working against it. Ships are so large that they leave behind quite a lot of energy in their wake. The worst that could happen is that you land and you have to take up or take off again. Can be tricky is going with the waves with this big of a ship. So then you might have to speed up a bit. It can be difficult to catch on the video, but the water is actually pretty unruly. And you definitely feel this on a regular boat. Surfing them a little bit. You probably won't be able to do this the first time you go out foiling, but as you learn, you start to master different types of waves. Now we can speed on through them. ship. I'm getting a bit cold, so let's just speed on home. Different. Show you a quick landing. So all you do is throttle down like this. The boat is going to initiate an automatic landing and land super gently. Just going to check if the rear GoPro's on. No problemo. Boat is super stable. Because the rear part of the hull is actually completely flat. So to take off again, you just go full throttle. And let's do some smaller wakes. One last time. Guys push up some pretty big wakes. Can't really blame them, they're super old boats. But what we do then, take a little bit of a wider turn, and we bang towards the waves, but we go through them full throttle. And that's how you hydrofoil through wakes. What's important is that the wave height isn't too high, and that you aren't banking while you take the waves. If you bank while you take the waves, you increase the chance of your foil wingtip to pierce the surface of the water. And if you do that, air is going to spread rapidly along the surface of the wing. That's going to rapidly reduce your lift, and that's going to make the boat land pretty quickly. a bit harder to catch the waves when you go in the same direction. As you see, we touch the water a bit with the hull. Again, coming into the dock. Gonna do a pretty wide turn. Gradually slow down. Here we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this ride as much as I did. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Thank you so much for joining in. It was great to take you on a test drive, and I'm glad we could catch some waves. Especially the big ferry from the Viking Line was pretty interesting. As you can see, the hydrofoils pretty much cut through anything as long as you keep you're a bit cautious and you know how to operate the boat. See you guys in the next one. Bye.